Tonight on Q2, cause for concern.
Prices are just going to go up for consumers because that's how companies are going to protect their profits.
President Trump's tariffs having an impact on businesses right here in Billings. Plus, a new twist in the ongoing saga over water bills.
How many voices need to scream before they go, okay, maybe there is something wrong here?
Some question the results of a third-party audit and are now refusing to pay up. And Patriots promise.
It's always great to know that the community is going to support the veteran. And we already know Billings and Montana are huge veteran supporters.
A project is underway right here in Billings to give back to America's heroes. The MTN 10 o'clock news starts right now.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 10 o'clock news.
Good evening and thanks for joining us on this Wednesday night. I'm David J. Tonight, China is accusing the United States of making unfounded and false allegations about its role in the fentanyl trade to justify tariffs on Chinese products. The complaint comes one day after President Donald Trump raised border taxes on Chinese goods by 10%, and concerns over the tax are creating uncertainty for many businesses, including several here in Billings. Q2's Haley Monaco reports.
With President Donald Trump's 10% tariffs against China now in effect, goods imported from China will become more expensive, and one Billings business is preparing for the higher price tag.
Everything we manufacture is magnetic. Everything is quilting and sewing tools.
In 2018, Jessica Drain's sister was working on a project, and Sew Tights was born. The idea, magnetic sewing pins to hold garments in place, and the business quickly took off.
We sell off our website domestically and internationally. I mean, I think we just recently had an order that we shipped to like Thailand or something, which is pretty neat.
The Billings-based company's warehouse is jam-packed with multiple products made in China because that's the only way they can make it profitable.
We have tried since we started to manufacture in the U.S. and our products, they're very simple, but there are really only a few places in the world that can manufacture them.
The goods they get are now going to cost more.
With the amount of product that we import, it would probably cost us $50,000 to $100,000 additional per year. That's not just something that a small business can necessarily just absorb.
They aren't the only ones who could see the hit. China is a dominant producer of tech.
It's still pretty fresh. A lot of parts, unfortunately, come from China. So that's, it's going to trickle down eventually to us.
Billings Tech Guys owner Dylan Solberg says they don't buy directly from China, but knows some gets through.
We have different distributors we go through, which are all U.S. based, but they'll get their parts from who knows where.
From electronics, clothing, and car parts, customers will see the increase too.
It's a 10% increase to us, but it's not going to be a 10% increase to the consumer. However, quite frankly, prices are just going to go up for consumers.
Sew Tights has enough product to not immediately increase prices, but if a deal with China is not made, the small business will have to raise the cost.
Probably will be increasing prices in late spring
as the trickles start to get bigger. In Billings, Haley Monaco, MTN News.
President Trump issued another executive action today. This one, a move to ban transgender athletes in women's sports. The action, called Keeping Men Out of Women's Sports, directs the Justice and Education Departments to interpret Title IX as specifying and clarifying that women's sports are reserved for women. Schools that don't comply risk losing funding and legal action. At the same time, the Montana House debated a similar bill today that would allow only biological women to compete in women's sports. House Bill 300, sponsored by Republican Carrie Seekins Crow of Billings, would define allowing a biological male to compete in women's sports or use women's locker rooms as an act of discrimination toward female athletes. The bill passed its second reading on a party line vote of 58 to 42. A long-awaited audit of the city's water billing system may be complete, but questions continue, with some residents still refusing to pay up, even though the audit shows the city's billing system is accurate. Q2's Charlie Kleps takes a closer look at just how many people still have unpaid bills and how the city plans to address it.
The audit's results are now complete and well documented, but that doesn't mean residents aren't worried every time they turn on their water that the correct usage isn't being tracked, and that's why they are planning to not pay their bills.
Every bill has no consistency.
When Scott Welter finally received his water bill late this summer after about a 2-month delay, something didn't make sense.
It was just about 3 times higher than I normally pay.
His bill, which the year before was roughly $300 for 2 months combined, was now over $400.
I think it was just overcharging. That's all I can say.
So Welter called the Public Works Department in search of answers.
They said, well, you or your roommates are taking long showers. And I said, look, I don't have hair. I'm not lather, rinsing, and repeating. I am in and out in under 4 minutes, and I don't have a roommate. So there went that excuse.
The city says Welter used 24,000 more gallons of water in 2024 compared to 2023. But Welters disagrees and decided to take action through inaction.
I do not plan to pay it until there's some sort of resolution.
His bill now sits at nearly $900 after months of not paying, and he isn't alone.
There's a number of customers and or businesses who said, I'm not going to pay this until this gets figured out.
City Administrator Chris Kukulski says there are currently 15,000 bills that are overdue by at least 31 days. That's close to 38% of total bills in the city. About 5,000 of those are overdue by 90 days or more.
There will be a point that their utility will need to they'll need to be turned off.
None of those overdue bills have led to penalties. However, Kukulski warns that will eventually change.
We're going to give people several months' notice of that. We don't want to get into another summer cycle where that water usage is really high and people get themselves deeper and deeper into a hole.
Kukulski suggests residents set themselves up with payment plans now that an audit has proven the city isn't overbilling, and he is encouraging residents with questions to meet with Public Works one-on-one.
It's only right that we be patient, work with our citizens to earn back that trust.
But Welter isn't buying it, still refusing to pay his bill.
They got exactly what they wanted to see. They paid for it. They paid exactly what they wanted to see. So I don't really trust this whole audit.
In Billings, Charlie Kleps, MTN News.
A Wyoming judge has denied a motion to dismiss all charges against a man accused of punching a Sheridan hockey coach so hard that he died. As we've reported, 48-year-old Patrick Mudd passed away last summer after he and 34-year-old Cody Michaela got into a fight over a parking spot outside a rodeo. Michaela was charged with involuntary manslaughter, with his attorneys filing a motion to dismiss the charges, claiming Michaela acted in self-defense. District Court Judge Benjamin Kervin disagreed. According to our news partners at Sheridan Media, the judge denied that motion. A 5-day jury trial is now set to begin in early March, with Michaela facing up to 20 years in prison.
It has been an interesting weather Wednesday around Montana and Wyoming. We had that very vigorous snow band that moved through central and then southern Montana earlier in the afternoon. Had visibility near zero at times in Bozeman earlier, but things have quieted down there as far as the snow is concerned, and even had about a quick shot of 1 inch of snow around the Billings area. But again, that has been falling apart the last several hours. So a clearing of our sky above. Some places getting some gusty wind, other places not so much. So earlier this evening, when we had the almanac, we had the low this morning at 3 degrees below zero and the high was 5 degrees. Not very warm, but also that's changing right now. We have the temperatures all over the map, no pun intended, all over the state. A wide variety of temperatures, some very cold, some not that bad compared to the last several days. We also have some more snow coming. I'll have your complete forecast for the next 7 days coming up in a few minutes.
New at 10, a new project is launched in Billings, marking an unprecedented year-long community initiative aimed at supporting Montana veterans. Patriots Promise will partner with 4 local veteran nonprofit organizations to raise $50,000 or more throughout 2025. The project not only promises financial support, but symbolizes an effort to care for those who have sacrificed for our freedoms.
We're here to support our veterans.
Project Patriots Promise brings together 4 veterans groups.
Making it fun so the community and families can get together to make awareness for these 4 projects.
Damian Forrester is the founder and coordinator of Patriots Promise and has a goal of raising $50,000 for the 4 nonprofits in 2025.
I'm trying to shine light on that, not only these 4 organizations, but the community itself and how we can always come together and support our veteran community.
The project includes the Bar X Project.
So we bring them out to Montana on an all-expense-paid fly fishing trip.
The Veterans Navigation Network.
Resource navigation, peer mentorship, and advocacy.
Dog Tag Buddies.
We have an integrative therapeutic program where veterans are matched with dogs.
And Operation Juliet.
We offer a safe space for female veterans to come together.
The leaders of the 4 organizations say they can do more for the veterans working together.
This is going to be a great opportunity for people to come out and learn a little bit more about us.
It allows us to do what we do so that a veteran doesn't fall through those cracks. They signed the dotted line, willing to die for our country, and I think we owe it to them to be able to support them.
Each one of us do something unique, but when we come together, we actually are much more powerful.
We all support each other and help each other in every way that we can.
And the name Project Patriot's Promise has a special meaning.
There have been so many veterans out there in the past and the present and in the future that has given back so much to the United States and to us and our freedom. So why don't we make a promise to them to give back to them? So that's Project Patriot's Promise.